She was only 20 years old. Too young, people said, to understand love. Too young to make promises. Too young to give her heart so completely. But love doesn't ask for age. It only asks for courage. This is the story of a girl who loved once, and loved with everything she had. Ayesha was 20, not the kind of girl who demanded attention, but the kind who quietly held a universe inside her. She lived with her parents in a modest house where the walls had heard more prayers than laughter. Her mornings began with sunlight slipping through thin curtains, and her nights ended with unanswered thoughts. She studied literature at a local university. Words were her escape. Stories made sense of emotions she never spoke aloud. Her friends called her old soul. Her mother called her too sensitive. Her father called her strong, though she never felt strong. Ayesha believed in love, not the loud kind shown in movies, but the silent one that stayed, the kind that didn't need proof, the kind that felt like home. She had no idea love was already walking toward her. It was an ordinary afternoon. The campus was crowded, voices blending into noise, footsteps echoing on concrete. Ayesha sat on a bench near the old library, reading a novel she had already read twice before. Then someone asked, "Is this seat taken?" She looked up. He was tall, calm, with eyes that didn't rush. His name was Armin, 24, final year engineering student, confident but not arrogant, quiet but not invisible. "No," she said softly. That was it. No sparks, no dramatic moment, just two strangers sharing a bench. They talked about books, about exams, about how time moved too fast and yet too slow. When he left, Ayesha noticed something strange. The bench felt emptier than before. They began seeing each other everywhere. The cafeteria, the library, the same bus stop. Sometimes they talked, sometimes they didn't, but presence became comfort. Armin never forced conversations. He listened, really listened, like her words mattered. One evening he said, "You think too deeply." She smiled, "And you don't think enough." They laughed. Weeks passed. Friendship grew roots. Something unnamed but undeniable settled between them. Ayesha didn't call it love. She was afraid to name it. One night, Ayesha sat on her bed, phone glowing in the dark. "Armin, are you awake?" Ayesha, "Yes." Armin, "Do you ever feel like some people enter your life quietly, but change everything?" Her heart raced. Ayesha, "Yes." There was a pause. "Armin, I think you're one of those people for me." Ayesha stared at the screen. Her hands trembled. She didn't reply, not because she didn't feel the same, but because she felt too much. A few days later, they met near the library again. Armin spoke first. "I don't want to lose what we have, but I also don't want to lie." She looked down. "About what?" "About loving you." Silence. The world seemed to stop. Ayesha finally whispered, "I'm scared." "Of me?" he asked. "No, of how deeply I could love you." Armin smiled gently. "Then love me slowly." And she did. They didn't rush. No dramatic dates. No promises written in stone. Just moments. Walking under streetlights. Sharing earphones. Long conversations about life, fears, dreams. Armin respected her boundaries. Ayesha trusted him with her heart. For the first time, she felt seen. She was 20, and she had never felt more alive. Love doesn't exist alone. Families do. Society does. Expectations do. One evening, Ayesha's mother said, "We've started looking for proposals." Her breath caught. "She's too young," her father added, but he didn't stop it. Ayesha knew Armin came from a different background, different class, different expectations. That night she cried silently. Love suddenly felt fragile. Ayesha told Armin everything. He listened, then said, "I can wait." "But how long?" she asked. "As long as it takes." But waiting is heavy, and time is cruel. Pressure grew. Arguments replaced laughter. Fear replaced peace. One night, she said something she didn't mean. Maybe this was a mistake. Armin went quiet. Mistakes hurt more when they're spoken by the person you love. The messages became fewer, the calls shorter. One evening, Armin said, "If staying costs you everything, let me go." Ayesha cried, "I don't want to lose you." "Then choose me." She couldn't, not yet. Love sometimes dies not because it's weak, but because the world is too strong. They stopped talking, just like that. Days turned into weeks. Ayesha laughed less, read more, slept poorly. Every song reminded her of him. Every bench felt empty. She learned something painful. You don't miss people loudly. You miss them in silence. She was still only 20, but her heart felt older. 3 years passed. Ayesha graduated. Armin moved abroad for work. Life moved on, but some loves don't fade. They wait. One random evening, a message appeared. "Arman, I still remember the way you looked at the sky when you were thinking." Her heart skipped. They met again. Older, calmer, wiser. Some feelings had softened. Some had never left. "I never stopped loving you," he said. She replied, "I never stopped wishing we had more time." They smiled, sadly. Love had changed them, but it hadn't stayed. They hugged, not to stay, but to heal. Sometimes love's purpose isn't forever. Sometimes it's to teach you how deeply you can feel. Ayesha was only 20 when she loved him, and maybe that's why it was so pure, so fearless, so unforgettable. Some people come into your life not to stay, but to change you forever, and that is still love.